Hey, welcome. In this video, we are going to unpack how to improve employee engagement, specifically how to avoid some really common pitfalls. And I'm going to unpack 4 activities that use 2 very freely available, simple tools that are absolutely guaranteed to improve employee engagement. And I know this, and I feel comfortable saying absolutely guaranteed to improve employee engagement because my job is working with some of the coolest organizations and educators on the planet. So I get to work with Crayola and Starbucks and Notre Dame and South Dakota State University and University of California, right? I get to work with some really cool organizations helping increase and make connection and engagement really easy. And so I've failed a lot and learned a lot of ways not to do that, but I've learned some really particular low-hanging fruit ways to improve employee engagement. So by the end of our time here, what is in my brain about how to make connection and engagement easy is going to be in your brain. My name is Chad Littlefield. Let's get into it. Okay, I told you that I was going to unpack 4 different activities that use only 2 things that are accessible to everyone, and those are imagery and quotes. As we get into this, know that this is a video, and employee engagement is a really big concept that is very complex. And depending on what organization you're in and what team and what's landed you on this video, right? This is meant to increase engagement in moments, right? I'm not suggesting that a good holistic strategy to improve employee engagement are these 4 activities. What I want to give you is low-hanging, practical things that you can do on a week-to-week, meeting-to-meeting basis to improve and increase engagement. So the activities that I'm going to unpack are in this order: inspiring intentions, panic picture, which is a kind of a fun one that a client actually taught me. These also work really great both in person and virtually. The third one is visualizing values, really useful when people are connected meaningfully to the values of a given company, right? It creates so much more buy-in when people actually care about the organizations that they're working with. I've done a lot of work with conscious capitalism and the B Corp movement and organizations that exist to do good on the planet along with doing well as well. And so that idea of connecting to values, super essential, and I'll share a really practical way to go about doing that. And then the last one is forging a future, right? You cannot expect high engagement if there is no future to look forward to, right? If people are kind of just cruising along and this is the temporary gig that they just happen to be in now, it's really hard and unreasonable maybe to expect a high degree of involvement and engagement from people. So the activities that I'm going to share rely on imagery and quotes. And the reason that is, I've found that groups of people react really well to the ability for imagery to create memorable metaphors. And there's something about quotes. When somebody, dead or alive, has said something that is profound, useful, succinct, and is shared with somebody else, it just accelerates communication. And so specifically because of this learning, we created a deck of cards called We Engage cards that have quotes on one side of the card and pictures on the other. Now, before you click off and go somewhere else, a free printable version of the deck is digitally available in the link below. Now, you might be watching this because you have a deck of We Engage cards and you want to figure out how to use them. And so in that case, awesome. You've already got all you need to do everything that I'm about to describe. So going back to the first activity, inspiring intentions, when I think about employee engagement or creating a really great culture of connection, I would love to snap my fingers and create all of this for people, right? Can you imagine as a leader or an educator, if everybody in your staff, team, class, organization felt like you were willing to know them, like you saw them, heard them, really got them, and ultimately you were actually with them, right? They were actually for whatever it was. Not that you agree with everything they say or do, but that you are on their team on the overarching whole. Now this is great. Now, Will and I wrote a book called Ask Powerful Questions to unpack how to do this, and it walks up this pyramid of skills. And on the very, very bottom is intention, because I believe any of the exercises that we're gonna unpack or share, if your intent as a leader or educator isn't abundantly clear to everybody in the group, it's really hard for the team to buy into that. And so if you wanna pause and get the directions from here and just read them, feel free to do that or take a screenshot. But essentially what this inspiring intentions exercise is you lay out a deck full of pictures on a table, or you have people digitally click into the same link, and And you have people choose an image that represents an intention they have for the day, for the year, for the quarter, for whatever context you want to set. And you have them choose an individual intention, and then you have them get into small groups of 3 to 4 to agree on one larger team intention. And then you come back to the larger group and have them report out what their collective small group intention was. And you could just leave it at that. Or if you want to actually get down to one core intention that the entire team has for the quarter, you could open up that larger discussion and pick one and edit it a little bit. And what it does is when an intention is clear, it makes it clear what game you're playing, and it allows people to choose, yeah, I want to be a part of this, I want to hop into this, or no, I'm not really interested, that doesn't serve me. Second activity is called Panic Picture, and I love this. A client actually suggested this. So they had a deck of We Engage cards. They were using them virtually when COVID had hit to spark some stories in their group as like a kickoff sort of warm-up exercise. And what they would do is hold up a card like this, an image like this to the screen, and hold it there for a maximum of 5 seconds. And the team's goal was to score the most amount of points possible. Let's say they chose 5 images. The way that the group got points is by unmuting within 5 seconds of the picture being up on this camera. So if somebody unmuted and shared a story about this image within 5 seconds, that the team would get a point. And they would also learn something about that person with the story that they shared, creating a little bit of engagement and team connection, some contribution from people. Then go to the next image, and this is just a really fast-paced thing to get 5 stories out on the table, but connect them to visuals while also gamifying things a little bit. So not right for every context, but a really cool exercise for some groups. You can check out a full video linked somewhere around here. I have a full tutorial on Panic Picture where I actually facilitate it in a way that you could play the video for a group and it would lead the activity for them, even if you don't have a deck of cards and didn't print out images. Third activity is visualizing values. This activity is really, really great to make something that is otherwise completely invisible and make it concrete and visible. And so if you can see this layout right here, we designed these cards specifically in little hexagon format and shape. And so if you're in person with a group, you can invite people to choose an image that represents a value that they want to bring to work every single day. Or choose an image that represents a value that they think is essential to the success of this team. And as they share that value, as they go around in a circle or a small group and share that value, you can put the images around creating this little visual flower of people's values and their stories. Now you see there is a blank card here. The back of this card is actually blank and intended for you to write a value. So if you wanted to write integrity on here, you could put that in the middle and then invite people to choose an image that represents a moment where integrity showed up. So as people do that, then they lay their stories or the images about stories related to integrity around this, creating a little integrity hexagonal flower. And this is really useful because the brain remembers visuals much better than language and numbers. So you could do the same exercise by just having people share stories, and it would be 10 times less memorable because there wasn't an image associated with it. And in fact, in leading workshops with organizations and companies, I have had people come back to me and say, this isn't the picture they shared, but there's one, the pictures in the deck has like a tricycle on it. And I had somebody come up to me at a restaurant one time in a random city that I facilitated a program at, and came up and said, I still keep the picture of this tricycle because it reminds me of blah, 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 blah. Really useful to pair imagery with important content. And perhaps most importantly, activity number 4 is forging a future. If there is no future to head toward, you can't expect people to engage because why, right? And so this activity can be summarized very simply. Choose a card that represents a future you would like to create. That's it. Choose a card that represents a future you would like to create. Lay out the cards. You can do it digitally or otherwise. If you don't have the deck and you don't have the digital deck, you can also invite people to go to Google Images, right? Go to Google Images and choose a card that represents a future you would like to create and paste the link in the chat or drop it onto a digital whiteboard of your choice. The point is to visualize the future, create this little quick vision board. And this is great. This can be for just a quarterly goal, that individual personal goals that people have, or overarching organizational strategy. To summarize these 4 activities, when you involve people in intentions, you get them to share stories, you invite them to connect to their values and paint the picture of a future they want to create together, engagement will go up. If you love this video and you want to try them out, scroll down below, pick up a deck of the cards. They're not that much, and in one use of them, they will make back their cost in spades, and you get to use them over and over and over again. And if you're not into that, snag the link, grab them for free. And if you're not, you still want to do some exploring around the channel, we post regular videos, and so you'll love the videos that are coming up next. And across our channel, the videos that help make engagement and connection really easy. I am Chad Littlefield. You rock. Have an awesome day.